Get up, you son of a bitch! Cause Pawn's drunk loves ya.
What up? What up? You already know this is Punch Unboxing, aka Mr. Moonshine himself. Ladies and gentlemen, man, shout out to all the combat sports, man. The UFC was lit, bare knuckle challenge was lit, boxing, once again, you know what I'm saying? Slow week, slow week, slow week. A lot of people still decompressing or just not even thinking about what transpired September, what was it, September 15th, when Terence Bud Crawford beat Canelo Alvarez to become the 5 division world champion, 3 division undisputed world champion, an accomplishment that I don't believe no man in the history of the sport of boxing is going to accomplish. You feel me? Just like I don't believe no other fighter is ever going to accomplish an 8 division world champion like Manny Pacquiao. Um, but if y'all familiar with the channel, y'all already know that I always say that boxing translates to life itself. I always say God first, everything second, fight plus survive equals true champions. The ones that, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a fan of self-victimhood. I'm not a fan of blaming anybody else, any power structure, you know what I'm saying, for shortcomings or anything you try to accomplish. I believe in responsibility and accountability. You know what I'm saying? I believe in seizing the moment. I believe in hard work, dedication, you know. I believe in all of that. Fight Sports Talk in the building. Say, yo, punch. Are you posting a link for this? Canelo has been more privileged than Bud. I ain't talking about who's been more privileged than others, but I think that, yeah, you could say that. I'm saying, but what I mean more is American fighter, most privileged American fighter. And I understand, look, I'm going to say this right now. My brother, Fight Sports Talk. Every time you hit the comment, I think you think in the YTBC everything is a debate show. Everything is let's see where I could disagree with him on this and let's chop it up. You know what I'm saying? Like I done that. What you doing now, my brother, is what I did years ago. You know what I'm saying? Go everywhere, try to find a debate, try to prove my look. Look, we're talking about Bud's privilege and the narrative of Bud not being a privileged fighter. See, there's never been a narrative of Canelo Alvarez not being a privileged fighter, and then he's complaining about not being privileged, or Canelo Alvarez is complaining about that he's being blackballed, or he's being or he's complaining that he's not getting the opportunity that he deserves. You know what I'm saying? So first listen to what the live is going to be about and listen to my perspective, and then if it's you grasp everything and then there's a disagreement, and then maybe we can have a dialogue. But yeah, I'm gonna send the link. As a matter of fact, I am gonna send the link. Hopefully people, you know what I'm saying, show up so we can have different dialogue. So again, shout out to everybody, man. Smash that like button on your way in. This ain't a hate thing. This ain't trying to destroy somebody's parade or anything of that nature. If y'all familiar with the channel, I always discuss things like this. You know what I'm saying? Some people support it, some people understand it, some people hate it. Some people don't like it. I think that there's a lot of people, that likes to have an excuse, have to there's men and women that do this. You know what I'm saying? That they try to portray that their life is harder than what it is. So then when they succeed, they have a backstory like, yo, man, I made it hard, man. You know what I'm saying? It was tough, man. I made it through the mud, man. I climbed the mountaintop, and everything was hard. Nothing was given to me. I ain't had no help. I did it on my own. You know what I'm saying? That's like that baby mama, single mother's cry to the new man. You feel me? Them single baby mamas, them bitter baby mamas, that they meet a new man and be like, I'm taking care of my kids all by myself. I ain't had no help. The father don't help out. You know what I'm saying? My mom and dad, they not functioning, you know. And I feel like when I heard the Terence Crawford interview with Andre Ward, in which for the most part is a good interview. And I said a long time ago, if you're familiar with the channel, when a lot of people was critiquing Terence Crawford for being dry, not doing interviews. When he does interview, he's all, you know what I'm saying, no personality, no headlines. He doesn't make any headlines on any interviews. Nobody remember his interviews because, you know what I'm saying, it's like dry paint, right? And I said that, you know what ESPN should do is either have a Andre Ward who he's cool with, where they play basketball, they play ping pong, they chatting each other, they trash talk to one another, so you can see the personality of Terence Crawford. Because I believe that Terence Crawford does have a personality, but for many years when he was a top rank, when he was a top rank, he said, "Get a job. It's over for you. No, this is my job, and you're gonna listen. Right now, you just came into my job. You just came into my store. See, it's open up. So you're already buying in what I'm selling. You're already buying in what I'm selling. See, um, so Bud in the interview, salute Queen, Queen Lakers in the building. Salute Punch. Great to see you live. Good to see you in the comment. Hope everything is well. Hope you had a good weekend. Now, appreciate you with the $5 super chat. Um, I seen the interview, right? And I've been talking about this narrative for a long time. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna start off with what people may deem positive, because I believe that there's gonna be a positive assessment that I'm about to talk about. Some people may disagree with it, whatever. Um, Terence Crawford, one of the greatest fighters to ever live. He's not only a top, one of the greats, but I do not just one of the greats, but he's in GOAT conversation. I think he's in the greatest of all time conversation, top 10. It could be fair top 15, but I think he's right there, top 15, top 10. I think his accomplishment, I think the way that he performs and beat the opponents, the way that he beat Earl Spence to become an undisputed, the way that he beat Canelo Alvarez, not necessarily that he demolished Canelo Alvarez, but I think that, you know, he took his soul, you know, not physically, but mentally, spiritually. I think that he took and humbled Canelo Alvarez more than Mayweather and Bivol humbled him. You know what I'm saying? I think I truly think mentally Canelo Alvarez is retired, but I think that he got so much money on the table that I think he's going to be one of those one of those great fighters, and I think it's tradition. If you look at the history of the sport of boxing, there's fighters that are favorite legendary fighters. They stay too long and they start getting knocked out by guys that should have never be in the ring with them, or shouldn't even beat them. Right, like Mike Tyson, he lost to McBride. Right, he got Roy Jones Jr. got knocked out cold out there. I think it was in Russia or Germany or something like that. And you see the greats, they start losing to guys that Muhammad Ali should have never lost to Spinks. um you know uh, um again, come on, a lot of fighters, legendary fighters, they overstay their welcome and they start losing. I think Canelo Alvarez in his next fight, I think he's gonna lose, and I don't think that it doesn't have to be an elite fighter. I think I think what I feel about his mentality after the fight, I think he's hard headed in terms of want to be better. He's gonna stay with Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso is his best friend, is the godfather of his children. He's not gonna fight Eddie Reynoso. He's gonna keep him afloat. He's gonna keep him part of the team. He goes against anybody that feels like he should get another trainer. That's why he calls Canelo, Oscar De La Hoya, that he's not loyal, because Oscar De La Hoya for years has been telling him like, yo, you could grow. You need to add some more wrinkles and some more tools to your game. You're young enough. You need a new trainer, and Canelo Alvarez doesn't want to get that. So I think that Canelo Alvarez is going to go inside the ring. And just like when Roy Jones Jr. got knocked out by Antonio Tarver, and they got knocked out by Glenn Johnson, I think it's going to happen with Canelo Alvarez. I think if he step inside the ring with Shiraz, I think probably Shiraz will beat him. I think if he step inside the ring with, we all know he's not going to step inside the ring with David Benavidez. David Benavidez will send him to the hospital. I even think that he's going to lose to Demetrius Andre. I think that even if Jamar Charlo get the best of him, I truly think that he's not mentally there, and Bud Crawford has took that away from him. Um, I think Canelo Alvarez doesn't have an aura. I think that finally, you know, yeah, I think the fans stood by Canelo Alvarez after Mayweather, and the Canelo Alvarez fans stood by him after Bivol. But I think in this one, I think it has humbled Canelo and has humbled the fans. There's no other narrative to paint for Canelo Alvarez. There's no narrative to say, oh, he shouldn't fight this one. Payday, payday, payday. No, 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 no. Queen Lakers say, I believe Crawford hurt Canelo mentally. Pray he don't continue either. I believe he will start losing also. Facts, to be honest. I feel like even after the fight, the way that he was, and I know that some people will be like, come on, man, that's him being professional. There wasn't enemies or nothing like that. That's respect. That's gameship. That's sportsmanship. But I'm saying like this, man. Ain't no man gonna introduce his woman to the dude that just beat him. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, how you doing, Bud Crawford? Now, this is my wife, and Mrs. Canelo, and this is my daughter, my princess. Like, nah, nah, nah. That's the last thing and as a man, that's the last thing you want to do is introduce your lady to the motherfucker that beat you. Introduce your kids to the new superhero. Right there, Canelo Alvarez checked out. But I'm gonna tell you what has plagued, because I always say that boxing translates to life itself. And I was listening to the Terence Crawford interview, in which I feel for the most part it was a good interview. And I was also looking at the whole speech of Terence Crawford, and his parade speech. And I wasn't talking about, I ain't talk about the whole thing, because right after the parade, he got arrested. Not arrested, detained. Got a gun pulled on him by a cop. In which later I just heard the news yesterday night that the police chief said that it was probable cause. They didn't find no problem with the cops. Nobody is talking about that. I'm probably gonna make a video out of it. They say that the cop did his job. So they felt that there was nothing wrong, but they're not gonna show the videotape. I still think that they should show the videotape for the public, but they say they found no problem with the cop. The cop is not gonna be suspended. He's still working and stuff like that. I did say that I feel like that it was racial intent there, or I felt like that cop knew who Terence Crawford was, and he wanted to prove a point. But it seems like there's no pushback from Crawford's team as of right now, and after the chief said what he said. So moving on from there, I would listen to the whole speech, and as a father myself, I was like, and I'm gonna be talking about what the privileged part of I believe that Terence Crawford has been a privileged fighter, but and I'm gonna add it to the privilege, and I want people not to look at this as a negative, but look at what I'm trying to say as a positive. Hold on, give me a second. So yeah. So I know there's gonna be people coming to the channel saying, "Oh man, come on, Punch. What you mean that Terence Crawford is privileged and shit like that? You know he had to go through man shit coming up and shit like that." Hey, yo, I'm gonna say it like this, man. Our community need to stop with this crutch that we like to hold on to. We need to stop with and I said this a lot of times. We need to stop this mentality that first um that we're driven by proving the haters wrong. You know what I'm saying? Watch, I'm gonna prove the haters wrong. Watch, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna prove the haters. Stop it. Prove your supporters right. Prove that God make no mistakes. Because in the end of the day, once you're trying to prove haters right wrong, because hate is of the devil, you still dictate in your approach, your hard work, to to prove the satanic energy, the devil energy wrong. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never gonna do that. The more that you accomplish, the haters are gonna hate more. You want to prove your supporters right, those that support you and those that praise you and those that, you know what I'm saying, big you up. Prove them right. Prove that God make no mistakes. Instead of dictating your hard work and dictating your approach into something and watch me prove these haters right wrong. Stop that. Where we come from, we like that. I think we need to change our way of thinking. We've been thinking like that for too long. I'm talking about Americanized Latinos, blacks, you know what I'm saying? American culture, the hood, that ghetto stuff, you know what I'm saying? We need to grow out of that. Also, also, when I was listening to this speech, I was actually a little irritated that Bud Crawford, that Terence Bud Crawford did not mention his father, Terry Crawford. Remember he was doing the speech and he was looking at the front row and he said, "Mama, Grandma, we made it." If you've been paying attention to Bud Crawford's career, his his father, Terry Crawford, has been in the cut. They've done interviews with him and stuff like that. Not so much. He's kind of, on. Normally in the cut. He's normally in the cut. He don't say too much. He don't try to see the limelight of his son. But Terry Crawford been there for his son. Another thing about Terry Crawford is that Terry Crawford, he never left his son. He's been always there for Terence Bud Crawford. But he was serving our country. He was in the Navy. He got sent out. And if you remember the story of Terence Bud Crawford, go look at the interview that his mother had a long time ago. When he was a top rank, and his mother was talking about when he was fighting kids and she used to pay people $10 to see who could be her son. Terence Bud Crawford's mother didn't believe in him. Didn't believe not believe in him. Didn't believe in what his father said. She said that her father, that her man, his father told her is he's gonna be $1 million fighter. Terence Bud Crawford, and the reason why I say privileged, the reason why I'm gonna start from the beginning. I'm gonna start from the beginning of what I mean that Terence Bud Crawford was privileged, and I just don't. And then we're gonna go to his pro, for me to back up my claim that he has always been a privileged fighter. First and foremost, we always say that in our community we need our mother and father, right? Ain't nothing better than a child with the support and the loving of a mother and father. We hear a lot that it's hard when there's a single parents household, single mothers, there's single fathers out there. Single fathers don't get their just due as well. There's a lot of single fathers out there. There's a lot of fathers that are doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? In my family, my cousin was with her man, and they took it, and it got to the point where she left the house. She left the house. She later died. Rest in peace to my cousin. But the father was taking care of the three kids. He was a single father. So I know my son, my oldest son, I gained custody of my son, my oldest son. So the, I know what it is also, how hard it is for single mothers, but also there is a thing of single fathers as well out there, or just fathers that do take care of their kids. You know what I'm saying? So Terence Bud Crawford's dad manifested what Terence Bud Crawford is today. Just like we see what Ken Porter did with Sean Porter, what Teofimo Lopez Sr. did for Tio, what Bill Haney did for Devin, what Henry Garcia did for Ryan. I know Ryan hasn't won a championship, but you understand what I'm trying to say. What Mikey Garcia dad did for him. And there's other fathers out there that's not the head coaches, but they've been there throughout their career. Like Earl Spence Sr. has been in the corner of his son throughout his whole career. Jamal Charlo's father, Go check out when he did the Undisputed. He was in his corner. He was on his corner. Mayweather Senior. He said, "You don't know his family dynamic." No, 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 no. We do know his family dynamic because they publicly told you the family dynamics. I'm only gonna tell you what's on the surface, and this is what I mean. There's gonna be some pushback. Pushback for what? Oh, you don't know the family's dynamic. I'm going by the family dynamic in which they expressed to us. Because his mother in the interview told us that his father said that he's going to be $1 million fighter before him lacing up the gloves. Because his father was a boxer as well, and his uncle was a fighter as well. So that fight spirit, that gym was implemented by his dad. It was a culture. So so don't take that away. It's nothing to put and in this thing, it's nothing to disagree, bro. This is more uplifting. This is more about our uplifting. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of content out there that we could be trolling. I could do content just trolling and having fun and being comedic and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, this is what I mean about privileged. Because athletes, athletes today, they like to paint a picture. And if you notice, oh, the father, it's like they want everybody that's coming from the hood to have a story that the father wasn't there, right? And if the father is there, we always want to push the father out. Just like everybody be like, not everybody, but a lot of people be like, man, Devin Haney, leave your father, Bill. Yo, Teofimo Lopez, leave your father. Your father talk too much. Fire your father. Hey, yo, in the NBA, Lonzo, LeVar, fire your father, LeVar Ball. He talk too much. But how many, LeVar Ball had three sons, and three sons was wearing NBA jerseys at one time. But they wanted his father out the picture. Because if you get a strong father out the picture, you can easily penetrate that family, that house, that mind. So there's always this. Not everybody got a LeBron James story, bro. Not everybody got the single mother never had a father and stuff like that. Because in society today, you already know they don't respect fathers. They don't respect righteous men. They don't respect conservative men. They don't like that. So when I heard his speech, we did this. Yo, throw your pops out there, man. Like exactly Queen Lakers. Like like Deion Sanders and his sons drafted fifth round. We all know he should have been drafted first round, at least number one, two, or three. But they wanted to send a message. They don't like your dad. Your dad is in your life. Your dad. It's all about the father. You know what I'm saying? So, first and foremost, Terence Crawford was privileged to have the support of a father and mother. Terence Crawford had the privilege to have a village, a community, just like in society, we say that not only a parents raise a son, but it helps a village to raise one. His village raised his community. That's why Terence Crawford is in the same community that he was raised because he loved his community and stuff like that. And he stayed grounded because the people in that community helped him out. Terence Crawford has a team that is loyal. So put it this way: let's add what real privilege and the real blueprint of success is. Two parents that love you and support you, right? A village. Not only your parents and relatives, but a whole village that's around you and is cheering for you, and make sure that you do make it. You got coaches. We all need coaches in life, right? Terrence Book Crawford had mentors. We all need mentors in life, right? These are the things that we so Terrence Book Crawford. So Terrence Book Crawford had a base of support that is privileged as well, in a good way. Many people have it, many people don't. So you got mother, father, add in the grandmama, because we all need our grandmama in our life. That's wisdom right there. You got wisdom. You got coaches. You got friends that's loyal. And the thing that I'm gonna tell you about a team, a good team. A good team, don't worry, I'm gonna get there, Joaquin. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna tell you what real privilege is. Bud Crawford's privilege, right? So, and let me tell you about your surroundings. When you put people that you surround, that are the extension of your goals, that's a real team. Your team around you is supposed to be those that is the extension of your goals. And everybody has a role. Coach Red has a role. Bernie the Boxer as a friend, as a motivator, as a, you know what I'm saying, somebody that he could trust as a role. Bo Mac as a role. Everybody has a role. And everybody is loyal and everybody knows their place. And everybody knows how to work for the greater good of Terrence Book Crawford, but everybody else is going to benefit from it as well, which is cool and is right, because everybody putting in their work and everybody is sacrificing. A team, you're just as good as your team. You're just as good as your representation, right? Terrence Book Crawford had a good, outstanding amateur career. Travel the world, had tournaments out there in Ukraine, Russia, Golden Glove, national title winner. Terrence Book Crawford got a promotional contract with arguably the greatest boxing promoter in the history of the sport of boxing, with Bob Arum, right? You getting promoted well. You getting title shots after title shots. Ain't nobody holding Book Crawford back. Ain't nobody blackballing Book Crawford. Ain't no 5 division world champion, 3 division undisputed world champion being held back. Can you tell me anybody in any genre, in any occupation, that is gained so much and, oh no, they blackballed? Or somebody's holding something away, holding them back. Stop it. I've been listening to the damn narrative for a long time, and I understand in this community why the narrative was pushed. Because there was a community of PBC boxing content creators that was bigging up Al Heyman, and Al Heyman was a brother, and he was bigging up the fighters, and then in this community it became tribal, it became divided. So it was Al Heyman and Al Heyman fighters, and then people was against Bob Arum. There's another community that it was about the UK and America, and there was you know what I'm saying. So people was building narratives on top of narratives in this community, but it wasn't true. Oh man, PBC held back Terrence Bud Crawford. No, they didn't. Oh, Al Heyman held Bud Crawford. No, he didn't. Al Heyman is a manager and advisor in which Terrence Bud Crawford never hired. Al Heyman not supposed to be working for Terrence Bud Crawford. Al Heyman's supposed to be working for the fighters that he manages and advises, and he gets his cut. Can you imagine if you hire a financial advisor, but while you paying your financial advisor is helping everybody else with your money too? No. And this is where people like to always be like, oh no, but Al Heyman is a promoter. No, he not. He's a manager and advisor. He manages Daniel Jacobs. He manages Keith Thurman. He manages Kenny Porter while Kenny Porter manages Sean Porter. He manages Mikey Garcia. He manages Kalen Plant. He manages Earl Spence. He manages the Charlo brothers. It's not Al Heyman's job to be managing Terence Book Crawford's career. Terence Book Crawford had the luxury to also had a lucrative contract, a better contract than all the welterweights outside of Mayweather and outside of Manny Pacquiao. Terence Book Crawford had the most get the was making the most guaranteed purses out of Earl Spence, out of Keith Thurman, out of Danny Garcia, out of Sean Porter. So Terence Book Crawford was privileged in getting the bag. And matter of fact, Terence Book Crawford was so privileged that during the pandemic, where everybody had to take a pay cut, including Canelo Alvarez, Terence Book Crawford did not take a pay cut when he fought Kell Brook. Terence Book Crawford has been the most privileged American fighter today. Terence Book Crawford was never held back. Terence Book Crawford was never blackballed. You could go back to you remember in the Fox telecast when they didn't mention Book Crawford that's the telecast. That's not blackballing nothing. That's them showing that is a PBC event showing their PBC champions. That's it. It's a choice. It's a choice for them to add anybody else or promote anybody else. Eddie Hearn is not promoting no other fighter. A matchroom boxing show is not promoting any other fighter. A top ranked show is not promoting any other fighter. I remember what fight I was watching in the it was in I think I was watching a I think it was Subre Matias and Liam Paro. I think it was Subre Matias and Liam Paro, and they didn't even mention Teofimo. And Teofimo was in the 140-pound division because in that telecast is about them. It doesn't matter. That's the telecast. Who cares? It's not still that telecast did not hold Terence Bud Crawford back. See, people like looking for a scapegoat. People like to be the victim. And that's where I'm not a fan of that. I don't subscribe to being a victim. Y'all want Terence Bud Crawford to stay like a victim, and he never was a victim to nothing. Outside of probably what happened with the cop, I'm just talking about his boxing career. When Terence Bud Crawford was at 135, he got his title shots. When he was at 140, he became undisputed. When he went to 147, he got his title shot with Jeff Horn right away. He extended his contract. He was getting $4 to $5 million a pop. Whether he sells a pay-per-view or not, that's his guarantee. It's guaranteed. He was privileged. Oh, but Terence Book Crawford. No, if Terence Book Crawford as a 140-pound undisputed world champion he could have put himself in position to fight the IBF champion, the WBO champion, the WBC champion, the WBA champion. He chose the WBO and Jeff Horn. He chose to extend his contract and fight Jose Benavidez Jr. He chose that. Jokers, why ain't nobody against Crawford? If anything, people want to see it. Yes, exactly. It's always been like that. It's always been like that. How about the WBC? How about the WBA? How about the WBC? How about the WBA? How about the WBO? Hmm? Come on now. Stop. This is, this is boxing translate to life itself. You don't want the youth in the community to always play this little self-victimhood role, like somebody is keeping you from something, or you're trying to have this over-exaggerated story, like, oh man, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, yo, it was hard, man. It was blackballing me, man. They didn't give me opportunity and stuff. Stop it, man. Terrence Book Crawford got every opportunity. Every opportunity to enhance the legacy, every opportunity to obtain a legacy, every opportunity. Do you know how many fighters that are truly blackballed? Do you know how many fighters that is truly not given the opportunity? Let's mention some names. Let's mention some names, and then there were situations that they was really withheld from fighting. Did did when Keith Thurman beat Diego Chavez and became the the WBA interim title holder. 2013, he was the mandatory to face whoever holds the WBA, right? Did he fight um Paulie Malignaggi? And then Paulie Malignaggi lost to Broner? Did Broner give Thurman a shot? And then Broner lost to Maidana? Did Maidana give Thurman a shot? No, Maidana fought Mayweather. Did Mayweather beat Maidana? Did Mayweather fight Thurman after that? No, he fought the rematch. Did Mayweather fought Thurman after that? No. Then he fought Manny Pacquiao. When did Thurman got his shot? Then Mayweather fought Umberto, and then he retired. Thurman ain't never got an opportunity to win a world title. He was a WBA interim since 2013. He never got an opportunity. That's not getting an opportunity. He got his world title. He won his world title fighting Danny Garcia for the WBC. That's how he became a champion. Did Demetrius Andre get a world title, get a unification bout in 160-pound division? The Triple G gave him one. Did Canelo Alvarez fall for the undisputed? Or did Jamal Charlo publicly said we're blackballing Demetrius Andre? See, that's blackballing. They publicly said we're blackballing Demetrius Andre. That's not getting an opportunity. That's not getting an opportunity to enhance your legacy. Terence Crawford, Earl Spence just didn't say, you know what, I'm gonna fight my mandatory Abdul Kokorov. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna fight Jamel Charlo. I'm gonna drop my belts and I'm gonna fight Jamel Charlo at 154, and I'm not gonna fight Terence Crawford. No. As soon as Bud Crawford left Top Rank, he went to Al Heyman. As a matter of fact, forget that. Terence Crawford pulled out of that negotiations and got himself $10 million with BOK Prime on Amazon Prime. And then came back to the table and still got that fight. He pulled out of the Earl Spence negotiations, was negotiating in bad faith, was negotiating 2 deals at the time, said probably, hey, yo, I could get this easy $10 million with Dave Avenesian. I'm a hustler out here. Let me get this $10 million right quick and then come right back to the table anyway. Hey, yo, man, Earl Spence, my brother, hold me down, all right? Let me get this quick $10 million, all right, my brother? You know how it is, you feel me? And then we fight that fight, but let me get this quick $10 million right quick. Does that sound like you ain't privileged? That's privileged. That's privileged. Christian Padilla in the building was good, man. And then the most powerful man in the sport of boxing puts Bud Crawford under his wing, and he gives him a stadium fight versus Mazrimov. Not an arena, a stadium fight. And then he makes sure that he gets him Canelo. I don't want to hear this Terence Bud Crawford need a. He always was privileged. Always. always was privileged, always in position, always had help. And that's a great thing because in life, sometimes you got to be at the right place at the right time. And Terrence Book Crawford worked his ass off to be in the position to be helped, to be invested, to want to want his services. That's what you want to teach. Instead of doing an interview, trying to say, oh man, they ain't want to give me no opportunity, and they were trying to blackball, and they was trying to push me, and they say that I can't sell, and they say that I can't do this. And man, shut the F up. You had everything, man. You have everything that a fighter wants. Wasn't several years ago, Terence Crawford said he's friends with Warren Buffett. Hey, you got great financial, the best financial advisor that you can have on speed dial. You have mentors like Andre Ward, fighter and a spiritual mentor. You have Mayweather as a mentor. You had put it this way, ladies and gentlemen, you even had a great baby mama that gave you 6 kids and took care of them. Never was on the limelight, never gave a story, never put you on the dirt, never. While you focused on fighting, you had a great woman, or at least a great person, a great woman you could co-parent with that never got in the way. Hey, I'm gonna tell you like this: there's women out there that be messing up these fighters. Look how Devin Haney looking with baby mama. Look how Ryan Garcia looking with baby mama. Look how Teofimo Lopez looking with baby mama. Terence Crawford, baby mama ain't never given those type of problems. As a matter of fact, Terence Crawford had a baby out of wedlock, and that woman never came out and blasted him. We just knew that shit because Shannon Sharp brought that up in the interview with him. If if Shannon Sharp, if Terence Crawford and Shannon Sharp would have never asked those questions or whatever, to this day, we wouldn't know that Terence Crawford had another kid with another woman. That woman ain't blast him up. So you had a good woman, somebody that you could co-parent with, took care of your kids while you go out there and make the bread and you fight for your family, right? You had great financial advisor, you had a great attorney, you had great promoters, you had everything. He said, what does have to do with boxing? A lot, my brother. Just like a financial advisor, what that has to do with boxing? What does an attorney has to do with boxing? Whatever what they say, my brother, they say that a downfall to every man is a woman. Oh, now you don't know. Not now. You know what I'm saying? So Terence Crawford was highly privileged, highly privileged, and I think that's more of a teachable thing. You see how Terence Crawford said in the interview, "Hey yo, I want to buy the whole block. I'm buying houses. Our community and our culture is done with people just saying what you're doing. How do you do it? What did you put in place for you to accomplish those things?" See, our problem in our community with our culture is in music is that we're a bunch of braggers. We don't teach. We scared to teach because in our community they think that everything is a competition. Yo, even if you buy new sneakers and somebody be like, yo, where you bought them shits at? Man, I ain't gonna tell where I bought them shits at. You better find out yourself. It's just like when Mayweather had a TMZ interview long time ago. And I think this had to do with the you remember when I think that they was trying to say that black people shouldn't buy Gucci, and he said, man, I buy whatever. I buy Gucci, Fendi, whatever. I don't got no problems with them. And people was mad at Flo Mayweather, right? And the TMZ interview, the dude said, you know that Floyd Mayweather always says, I always invest. I make smart investments. I make smart investment. And the dude said, what are the investments that you made so you could teach the youth, so people could so the youth people, from those communities could. And he goes, Man, you got to get it on your own. I ain't gonna tell you the game. You gonna get it on your own. See that right there is a problem in our community. Let me tell you about the coaches in other communities. They teach the game. The Jewish teach the other Jewish kids the game. The Arab teach the Arab the game. The Muslims, they teach each other the game. But in our community, nah, you want to be the dude that got it. And you don't want nobody else to know how to get it. So for me, that interview should have been more of a teachable moment. Terence Crawford, what made you successful? You know what made me successful? I had a mother and a father that supported me and loved me. My father already said when I was young, before I laced up a glove, that I was going to be $1 million fighter. My father was in the gym. My uncle was in the gym. My surroundings were fighters. So it was naturally for me to be a fighter and want to become a fighter and want to be successful as a fighter because my father and my father already gave me the confidence to fight. And if my father is giving me the confidence, ain't no man in the world could beat me. That's number one. I had the best promoter in boxing history. I had the best network in ESPN, the worldwide leader in sport that was pushing me. I had great mentors that also was a father figure. That also was a dude that believes in God like Andre Ward. Family orientated. You know when you want to be around people that's family orientated, right? Timothy Bradley was exactly. Timothy Bradley was pushing Terence Crawford as well. Mayweather in the gym, always showing him love. While the world was showing, matter of fact, remember when they were showing love, Lomachenko and even Terence and Flo Mayweather was in an interview and saying that nah, man, it's Terence Crawford is the best fighter of this era. Flo Mayweather was pushing that. Flo Mayweather was pushing Terence Crawford in the limelight just like he was pushing the Gervonta Tan Davis, and that wasn't even his fighter. Having a good team around you, financially, coaches around you that stays in the gym and willing to learn, never slacked off, never let you slacked off. That's privileged. Terence Crawford was a privileged fighter, and he got every opportunity to enhance his legacy. All he had to do is do everything in the ring. Yo, when you have a team that all you have to do is worry about what you do in the ring, that's the best team. Because the best team around you is the team that take weight off your shoulder. Baby mama did that. Attorneys did that. Manager did that. Bomac was your manager. He managed you very, very well. Network. What more could Terence Crawford ask for? What kept Terence Crawford from any accomplishment? How can anybody be blackballed and withheld with a 5 division world champion, 3 division undisputed world champion? That's like me saying, yo, they held back Manny Pacquiao. But Manny Pacquiao was an 8 division world champion. Hey, yo, they held back Floyd Mayweather. What you talking about? Floyd Mayweather did everything. No, they held back Canelo. What? Canelo's a 4 division world champion. What the fuck is the cash cow? What the fuck are you talking about? Nah, they held back Anthony Joshua. Nah, they held back Alessandro Usyk. Nah, they blackballed Alessandro Usyk. Yeah. Nah. They blackballed and they held back Naoya Inoue. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? No. So I just want to stop. It's time to end this dumb narrative, fake narrative of yo, they held back Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? What? So if Terence Crawford was blackballed and Terence Crawford was held back, If he's a 5 division world champion, 3 division undisputed world champion, what? He would have gained 5 division undisputed world champion? Like what Terence Crawford didn't accomplish? Did anybody ever told Terence Crawford you can't get this fight? Payday, payday, payday. No? Nobody never told no Terence Crawford payday you can't get this fight payday. Did Terence Crawford have pay-per-view events? Did Terence Crawford headline Madison Square Garden? Headline Omaha? What? Who held Terence Crawford back? Who? Who blackballed Terence Crawford? Nobody, bro. His mm. His if anything held this back, if anything held him back, was his personality. If anything held him back from becoming a star, like a celebrity star, was his personality that he showed on camera. Because when you see him, how he wrestles and play basketball, play cars, play ping pong, trash talk, he does got a personality. Is that his interviews were sucks, and those interviews is how traditionally you start promoting a fighter, get to know the fighter, get to know his life. But he was like dry paint. But anyway, man, this show live. A lot of people ain't here. Save this for another day. Hope everybody got a good night. But it's just he said, but it's just corny. Nah. Yeah, man. They already shadow banned my they already shadow banned my channel already. But anyway, yeah, hell of a fighter, no charisma. And I do think he got a little charisma. I just don't think that he shows it in interviews. That's what it is. I don't think he shows it in interviews, you know. But isn't exciting enough to generate lots of enthusiasm within the African American boxing community. I think, yeah, I think that people got so used to. But this what it is. This what I mean about. But is it Terrence Crawford's fault, or is it the community itself? Because see, Terrence Crawford is that hard worker. Fatherhood is prominent. Had parents, had a mother, had a father, blue collar worker. See, blue collar worker. See, it's just that he doesn't. There's a culture that likes a fantasy. There's a culture that likes thuggery. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. But we out of here. Peace out, man.